View of some housekeeping style items for everyone who's watching to know about. So this marks 1 week till festival, which is really exciting and very close, and we're all looking forward to it. So on our opening night next Thursday, we will have a live stream here at our regular 6:30 time with our opening ceremony. We'll also have a partnership with Steeped in Stone, and you can visit their digital version of their show as well. So you'll be able to find that on our website, which is down below with my name, www.siouxfringe.com. So go there to find out more information about how to get engaged on opening night. Then we have Friday and Saturday live shows. So for those who haven't been with us so far this season, we do have live shows, digital shows, and workshops this year. So lots of different things happening, lots of fun ways to plug into the festival. On Saturday and Friday, we will have live shows at the Sault Ste. Marie Museum, and that will be happening in the afternoon and evening. Then on Sunday, it will be our workshop day, and that starts a little bit earlier, and we'll have lots of workshops throughout the day. So find out more and our full lineup by visiting our website, which again, down below, www.siouxfringe.com. Today I have with me here Dave and Brooklyn, who are from Twintwa with the submission Glow Ink this year with Fringe on the digital portion of our festival. So thank you both for joining me. It's so exciting to have you here and to get to talk a little bit more about your show and how the festival, what your anticipation is like for the festival and getting involved. So I'll give you both a moment now to just quickly introduce yourselves and let everyone know who you are.
Well, I'm Dave from Twintwa, as you said, and I'm one of the creators of the digital film this year, Glow Ink, and yeah, that's me.
Hello, I'm very happy to be here. Brooklyn from Forrester Dress and Twintwa collaborative writing of Glow. So yeah, just excited to talk more about what we've been working on. It's been a lot of fun, and yeah, just thanks, Caitlin, for having us.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to get to chat with you and spend time with you today. So for those who haven't been following along all season so far, do you want to share a little bit about what exactly is your project and how did it come to be?
Yeah, well, I can start with that. I mean, I think it started back with Brooke's screen printing. It goes all the way back to Winnipeg when Brooke's been screen printing for a long time for both themselves and for doing this art projects like Forrester Dress and Twintwa and other things we do. And Brooke came across some glow in the dark ink, started applying it to some of the shirts, banners and stuff. And then in the last year or two, we just started getting really into the glow in the dark element of it. And then kind of a light went off in my head that we could do stop animation with it because you can't really film it. Like you can blacklight it, but you can't really film it. So we started playing around with stop animation, and that's kind of where the idea came from. And then just kind of becoming obsessed with glow in the dark ink this last ever since we decided to sign up for Fringe North. Yeah, that's the moment of it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you have anything to add, Brooklyn?
Yeah, just that it's from our idea together, putting it together and bringing that kind of glow aspect to film and performance and that sort of thing.
Really cool. So was this the first time exploring that stop animation, or have you done that with other projects too?
It was the first time that we had ever done that before, actually. So it was new to us and everything, but we were still just challenged ourselves to put it together.
Really cool. And when you were creating this, because I know music is both of your backgrounds as well, how did you combine those elements of stop animation and using the glow in the dark ink and combining that to the music? Does it enhance the story or support it in any way, or what was that like to pull those pieces together?
Yeah, well, they just start to kind of affect each other. You just kind of start doing stuff and being like, this music applies, or this certain music inspires, this kind of painting or this kind of painting. And actually, there's going to be there's going to be some performance art in this movie too. So it's kind of beginning. It started as just stop animation going with it, we added some layers of actual you're gonna see some like really amazing interpretive dance from Brooke out out in the deep wilderness, and that kind of thing.
You're gonna see, yeah,
You're gonna actually see some really some deep wilderness shots. That we did and then kind of used glow in the dark and kind of a music video element too. But yeah, that answers that question. It might have been a little tangential, but yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, Brooke, how did you get into like that interpretive dance and like learning the different styles of it and incorporating it with your music? What was that process like?
Kind of combining a lot of ideas into one, like all the different things like dancing and the art, and it honestly came together, this project Glow, together really naturally from just like pure creativity going on in our house, in our studio here, painting like crazy and kind of being like, how can we challenge ourselves more this time? And it honestly just kind of flowed together. Like I was painting everything, and Dave had a black light, and one thing led to another, just kind of like the ideas that we wanted to express. Like, if that makes sense, it was like the art that I had in my head, like sometimes you literally just got to start doing it, and then all the things you kind of wanted to do and express can like come out, but you got to kind of like take those first steps, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like a super collaborative effort that kind of like I did like the painting and kind of that aspect, and then had, you know, how to format it, like how we can format it together and stuff. So it was like very, very collaborative, and that just worked really well. So like us already having a musical art connection kind of was like, okay, we're going to work on this project, and it was able to flow really well.
We just kind of jumped into roles naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just got to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Awesome.
kind of started scripting itself a little bit, you know.
Yeah. So kind of combining like, yeah, personal elements, messages we want to convey, story we want to convey, and then just bringing it together through the movements that we do in glowing, and that kind of thing.
That's fascinating. Did you, I might have misunderstood, but did you say you had filmed it at your house? Like, how do you set up for that kind of project? And
Well, I don't know. I don't want to give away all the trade secrets.
okay.
So Katrina's recipe, because I mean I'll give a little here, but I'll tell you this: it was a lot of troubleshooting, a lot,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of playing with light in different camera settings. Like so, a lot of like,
yeah.
Well, literally my eyes hurt at the end of the evening.
so setting just looked like so yeah, troubleshooting and then transposing that onto the computer, which my computer is very slow too, so slow rendering and stuff like that. But it's just plugging away until finally that bore its fruit with some pretty good results. But
Yes.
a lot
trial and error. So have fun out there.
Awesome.
And I mean, the parts that were filmed outside were also filmed outside. So it is mixed in that way. The video is definitely the glow in the dark element, but there's also, we're combining it with real-time imagery. So with like image.
Awesome. So lots of different layers coming together in the project as a whole then.
Yeah.
Really cool. Where do you like source glow in the dark ink from, or like where do you find it? Like did you create it yourselves or?
No, well, maybe we concocted it. Maybe we brought out a cauldron of some sort, and I went into my potion and that's the funner story of how we.
I repainted my guitar. I sanded my electric guitar down to the wood, and I spray painted it. Like 5 layers of glow in the dark ink, and then I spray painted like a wood laminate over it. So I have a glow in the dark electric.
Awesome.
And it's I like to say it because to me it's one of the feature. We kind of use it as the feature. I don't know, even some of the advertising, kind of one of the feature like pictures. And obviously there's many more than just.
But it became I became
became pretty fixated on it and pretty proud of it because it became like this little spring project and sandy and it drying. I'm going at it, watching YouTube videos on how to do that
around finding the right paint.
and stuff, and then finally doing actually reassembling the guitar back properly electronically and stuff. So it in the daytime it looks really cool because it's just bare wood, and then if it's dark enough, it glows like a bright blue.
That's amazing. That must have taken hours to do.
Oh yeah, it took many like days because it had to be like.
You did it over about a month?
Yeah, and that's just because I was, like I said, it took quite a while, yeah.
In different segments.
Yeah, just different segments, sanding it, putting one layer on, letting that dry for like 2 days to let it really set in.
Putting another layer on.
So, but that was fun. That was a cool little garagey project for me this spring. Yeah.
And it helps spearhead things too, is like that
Yeah.
kind of prop design, kind of like maybe you can speak more on that process, but I think doing that was like, you know, we were already having fun with the glow in the dark ink, and it was, well, this is obviously a whole nother world. Like, we're so proud of Glow Ink and what we were able to put together, and we hope that it can lead us to inspiring us, to challenging us to do, you know, an even longer video of it in the future, you know, kind of thing. So, because we're really had a fun with this idea, and I think there's a lot more that we do too. So we're really proud of Glow Ink, and we hope that people will tune in and watch it and just come for the experience. And it's also musical. There's also original music that you put that music together actually before we even knew each other, and it's kind of been
That's right.
some of it is from modern recent, but some of it is music unreleased from many years ago that's kind of been waiting for a moment to, because there's kind of instrumental music to it, so literally it's been unreleased
Found its place.
for like over 10 years. So we're also including in music that it's like, I think this is where this music finally comes in. And then also, you know, some of our latest, newer kind of collaborative music. So that's kind of a fun aspect too, is that instrumental sound scoring that was waiting for Glow Ink.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's amazing because like one of the things I love about the process and journey of music is that sometimes you have a piece that you may put to the side and think that it's never even going to get used, and then just the right project comes along and you end up pulling it back out, and it's just like was made for that moment even though it was years before.
Yeah.
In your
It can ripen. It can
Yeah.
ripen.
Yeah, for sure. In your process as musicians and kind of like having been in the space for so long and been doing music for that many years, do you find the journey for you has sort of like, do you see it as coming together, or do you feel it's more like separate journeys and then these two pieces just happen to fit? Or was there kind of like a journey from the time that original music was made to now that got the project to where it is?
You're talking about the music Brooke was just referencing?
Yeah, so like those pieces that
From-
weren't really being used and now fit really well with this particular project.
You know, what's kind of funny is they kind of like, you know, they're the kind of things that are just like almost like somewhere deep in like some like in your hard drive, and you barely know they exist. You just kind of stumble across. Sometimes you stumble across them at the right time. And you're like, hey, you know what? Like, so it kind of they sometimes have a funny way of like presenting themselves to you, like, hey, don't forget me. And you know, that's kind of what happened this time around, and I'm thankful for that. Like, because there's so much archive ideas, you know, and they were hiding in that folder, and I was searching all in there, and like, yeah, you know what, it's time for this, and
Yeah.
it applies to this, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's why I never throw anything out when it comes to music. Just store it
Yeah,
somewhere.
Totally. Yeah, I've got like sticks and yeah, well, like we divide sticks sitting around. I'm gonna get to that. And I'm gonna organize it all one day. Yeah, right. So it's organized chaos, and sometimes the chaos, yeah, it's relatively organized.
Chaos of it.
Works out.
Mhm. So when you're bringing pieces together for like a final project like this, how do you select which pieces feel like they'll fit well together?
In terms of music, or is that what you meant? Or
All elements of it really, like the music, the dance, like how it combines with each other, but also like the different forms of music or dance, like for example, at the start compared to the middle compared to the end, like how do you bring those pieces together throughout the thread of the project?
Mm,
Well, one thing that makes it, and what I've been thinking of this last year is, with some artistic things, and I believe I did for myself, anyways, with this project, creating limitations. Sometimes
To create some limitations, whether that be time or what you're actually going to work with, and then you go with that and make the best of what you have. So I think we had a lot of ideas, and then eventually you gotta zero in and just make the ideas you're working with. If that makes any sense. So sometimes creating like this, especially when it's clear, and I think we, just like last year with Tonight the Water, we, when we found out we were getting the festival and you got other things going on in your life, and then all of a sudden it's like 2 weeks, before the deadline, you got to get it in. So time becomes that limitation. So I almost like working under pressure. So this was definitely working under pressure based on timelines, which are obviously fair. And then sometimes pressure of time just makes your creative mind go, are you doing this? And this is definitely an example of that. And then just pushing yourself in certain timelines. The timeline. These are the resources I have. Make a soup out of the vegetables you have. That's not metaphor right now. But like, and because we don't have all the best technological resources and that kind of thing. So how can you make your limited things shine? And it happens all the time with DIY art and that, like movies, music, all sorts of stuff. How do you make a simple thing fly? And there's examples of it in all sorts of art all over the world, but sometimes, and I like to think this is an example of that. But that glowing is an example of that part of me.
Yeah, and with having that I guess process of like having to meet deadlines, but to have like all these ideas, do you think there's room for glowing to like grow in the future and other projects that you'd like to pursue based on some of those ideas you didn't quite get to?
Yes, definitely.
oh yeah.
This is just the foundation of the first chapter. We're already talking about kind of the glow in the dark thing for live performance.
Yeah, that's where the idea stemmed from.
It's true.
That's where the idea stemmed from, was doing this glow ink in a live performance. But I think that going into the animation aspect was like really good to do first of all before live, because I think doing the animation actually strengthened the project. So now if we were to take this live, it's like we have a lot different ideas of how to go about it to make it as efficient as possible, to have the glow linger as long as possible and experience of it. So glow ink is definitely the bridge to, I think, a whole nother realm we're going to be working with.
Yeah.
Just like getting in touch with the game, like how, it's pretty interesting. One of the things is pretty darn interesting.
Yeah,
it's an interesting voice.
and like in one of the interviews or talks we had done last year, you were asking about things we want to work on and grow, and I remember one of the things that I said to you is I want to make my characters that I draw, I want to make them big, I want to make them bigger, I want to make these small things that I draw, I want to make them big. And I think in this glow ink and in the video context, see some of that come to a new life,
Definitely.
and so what better way to get big than on a big screen for the Fringe Festival. So yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember talking about that too now, and like, yeah, it's a way to bring like combine different themes of art, like the drawing and bringing it to like a live performance piece is super unique and super cool and just like fun in many ways. Yeah, like as you were, did you do that with intention of bringing them to life, or do you just feel like it naturally pulled that side out, and now looking back on it, you're recognizing that throughout the work of Glow Ink, or was it something that was sort of planned and built into the experience?
Well, the narration starts to come into play once I get into character mode and, like you'll see in the video, becoming other, creatures, becoming another thing. You'll yeah, sorry, just losing my train of thought for a second, but yeah, you'll see it come. The narration starts to come like as you let yourself kind of transform into these characters that you've imagined. The narration starts to play out, and especially with something like Glow Ink and the movement and flow through, like it starts to make you feel really creative for a lot more narrating of ideas and storylines. Bigger and larger storylines that can come into play, but that will take an enormous amount of work to become that. But Glow Ink is like a foundational body of Glow Ink, this world of story and narration that is coming through in this video, and that also is going to help propel this to lead to other ideas of narrating in this Glow world.
It's super fun.
Yeah.
I haven't watched, like I've seen pieces of it, but I haven't actually sat down and watched the whole performance. But do you bring different characters in, and was there like a favorite that you had for this particular piece?
They were also fun because there's different pieces, right, that we can combine, and different and different eyes, and I feel like some of them are kind of goofy, and I feel like some of them are a little more serious. Some of them are a little bit more just a little bit more serious and there, whereas some of the characters are really goofy and big eyes that kind of like big on the character's body and stuff like that. But I think that's what's fun, is that there's that combination going. So I hope that comes through.
Awesome.
It's going to be a portage done by a friend of ours, Josh. I was on a free trip with him, and that footage of him in the final phase of him coming out of a bog, like intense, like real, like quicksand kind of bog, moose country, like the subway or we're canoeing. And I got footage of him, and I implemented the last part of that portage of him coming through all the bugs and stuff. So there's got through it after Josh, so my triumphancy.
Yeah.
And there's the characters, having a relationship with that, but there's just an epic portage thing in this movie.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Triumph is definitely a theme.
Yeah.
Triumph.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool.
After 800 meters, sinking in a bog.
So that, so like I say, some of that people in this, like just getting in there, yeah.
Okay, that leads me to two questions, so I'm not sure which way to go with it. But first of all, when you were filming that, did you think like, oh, I'm just capturing footage in the moment, or did you kind of think in your mind like this might be useful for a project down the road, or did you just sort of it come up organically and integrate into it?
Yeah, pretty organic, because that trip was last summer or last fall, and I'd gotten to the point where it was like finally like kind of solid land and dropped off the final, and Josh was carrying the canoe on his head, and there wasn't anything I could do. There's no point in me going to sink more or whatever. So it's like I'm gonna film this. This is great. Like we are both not in a great mood in all this, but I'm like, I brought the camera out. Like this is pretty epic. Like, and so in the moment, it's one of those things where you just want to sit down and drink water, or like pretend you're gonna help for that last. Where you're really happy someone else is doing that. So I'm like, I'll film it. Yeah. So
in the moment, I don't know what I thought. I just thought this is epic. This is like the thing to film. If you can. So like when you're watching cool nature stuff, like amazing things, like they obviously took the time to do that. I'm like, this is where you do it. This is where you go that extra level to archive some of that craziness that happens.
Yeah.
It was easy not to, or I could have, sat down and stuff. But in a funny way, there's an invigorate when you do something like that. There's an invigoration too. So you're kind of you're like getting all bitten up and you're completely dirty and tired, but you're also like invigorated because you're so deeply invigorated into where you are. So there's something else comes over you too. So it's pretty cool. I feel that to document those emotions. And then I know at that time I think we were barely off the other Fringe to number water. So I had no idea where we'd end up. And then when we were doing this film, I'm like, you know what? Let's get this works. This for some reason this works.
This moment, yeah.
This what this is communicating, whatever works in the movie. Yeah.
That's fantastic. It's so cool that it like worked out that way, that you just like had it. And I think those moments of like capturing like experiences that are so unique, and I think that's the thing with it, is like it's hard when you're in the moment, but like when you talk about that invigoration, it's because like it's not the norm, and when you get like those odd experiences, you're like, there's something special about this moment, even though I might not like that I'm getting bitten and like all of this like negative pieces coming around, but like also that like humanness of just like, this is something I'll probably never experience again, hopefully. Don't want to get stuck in bogs too often. And like yeah.
Well, it's like you're a step closer to becoming a wild. Like you're still human, but you've entered a little bit closer to like that wild animal realm, and you're still separating things logistically as you would as a human, but you've moved a step closer realm, and that's an amazing thing. That's I don't know what words I want to put to that, but it's a step towards that. And it's not, I don't want to use the word beautiful. It's almost a step closer to death in a way, but it's very, it's a wonderful, it's a strong feeling, because it's the feeling of like, no, I really am accountable for myself and everything that happens. Like nothing, if I break my leg here, or if I lose my resources of water, and like there's no helicopter, there's no Wi-Fi. Like we're accountable to each other here. So it's like brain takes over. So that's I like that. That's a really wonderful thing.
Yeah, like that connection to the present moment, rather than like having those thoughts like towards Wi-Fi, or like things that pull us out of that moment. So I guess would be. The other question that I was thinking of earlier when I said I had two was kind of like wanting to touch on that triumph theme, and how that comes to play in Glow Ink, and also just like those moments of what inspires you to triumph. And if you wanted to talk a little bit more about that piece of the project.
Well, if you don't mind, I think your dance on the island there, and I'll let you speak for the triumphant element to that. Yeah.
Definitely. Triumph, I think, is a big theme with Glow Ink. I mean, it's called Glow Ink, but it could just as easily, pardon me, I've been called so many other things too, But yeah, triumph is a really big theme there, and also connection to something maybe deeper. Touching on something deeper and wilder in the theater Glow Ink context, I think we're trying to do. And I think there'll be different messages. There's different messages that come about in Glow Ink, I think, that we didn't necessarily, sit down and write, okay, this is going to be our message, but write and narrate and do our characters and add in interpretive dancing. It was like what needs to be said kind of gets said. So there's some fun parts in there where we literally started filming and I wrote as we were filming, and I didn't sit down and say, okay, I'm going to do this. It was like, okay, we're here and we're going to film here. And this is what we're going to do. But we're going to start rolling and you're going to go. So it's like, it's kind of taking a lot of like life and putting it into something that is going to received by other people in a way that's not me talking and telling you something. It's going to take you on a different journey and story. And, you know, Ukraine becomes a theme in our Glow Ink project. And I didn't necessarily, I'm going to draw something very important to me, Ukrainian tribesub. But it was like what messages needed to come out in our narration of Glow Ink kind of came out. So I think, yeah, I'm just really happy for people. I really want people to watch Glow Ink and just come along for the journey. And I don't want to spoil too much. I don't want to give away too much in this moment, but there's themes of triumph and yeah, maybe yearning of some sort and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Awesome. So do you feel like those themes of yearning and triumph speak to your own life, and what have your experiences with triumph been like?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the time of like filming too, we had gone camping for a couple of days and we thought we might do some filming out there. And we ended up doing that. So I think at that time there was a lot of like personal struggle too. And, you know, like having Ukrainian background, it's always on my mind every second of the day. And, you know, find a creative way to kind of stay true to our glowing storyline, but also by staying true to it, by staying true to me, staying true to my story and my journey as an artist, still staying true to my ideas, creativity, but also bringing along, I think, like a beautiful message of current times, current energy, current spirit, yeah, of triumph and connection, and that we're still gonna be creative, and we're still going to make beautiful things. We're still gonna make projects that fuel our souls, connects us to others. We're still gonna do all that, but we're gonna bring a little bit more of what we're truly going through along. You know what I mean? Into theater, into music, into dance, bringing a little bit more of what's really going on. I think a lot of people do that, obviously. But yeah, that's sort of, for people listening, kind of like who we are as artists. Like to bring who we really are along with us along for the ride. You know, you're kind of seeing all of us, and so that's kind of a unique thing about Glow Ink, is that you're taking all that, but you're throwing some glow in the dark paint on it, and you'll see what you see when you shut off the lights.
That's awesome. So is that kind of that sentence, you'll see what you see when you shut off the lights, kind of like both metaphorical as well as the literal sense of the glowing, like bringing that human inner light to the dark too, or?
Oh yeah, you got it, Caitlin.
Awesome.
You got it. Yeah, for sure. It's like, it's letting something see the light of day in the dark, like, you know, having its moment in the glow in the dark ink. So yeah,
That's awesome. That's so important. So when you talk about like that realness and bringing it into art, is it more because I feel like different people approach this differently, and maybe it's a both and many other things too, but is it more like a processing thing, or like art has like healing too, and what elements do you see as integrating yourself into your work that way?
I think like being an artist is being like an alchemist, you know, you're tasked with transforming, not necessarily pain, like it could be joy, it can be, you know, you don't always have to create from this place of, you know, you know, you create from all sorts of emotions and stuff like that. So yeah, sorry, I'm just thinking.
Sometimes you write the art or the music or whatever it is or script it, and other times you gotta kind of let it script you. Like
Mm.
you gotta let it run through you. Is maybe what we're saying, or maybe what I'm saying. I don't know.
Yeah,
But sometimes, like, again, going back to when we went to go film out on Rain Lake there, and I was knowing we needed more footage for glowing, and we needed some more, and the time was coming. I had, we had some of the things lined up and we edited already, but I knew we needed more content, and the time was going on, and I just made it. I don't know how it's coming or what it's going to be, but that footage is coming from this lake, or and when I went out into the bush,
from an island.
yeah, on an island on Rain Lake,
Yeah.
And it just started, and all of a sudden all the tools just started showing up.
Mhm.
To do it, I won't over it, but they're pretty. It involves fire, it involves Brooks dance, and then of course the stop animation with all that. So there's a strong theme of fire in this film too. But so just being like, I don't know what getting that footage from this trip, like, and all of a sudden things, you just start zeroing in, yeah, on some of the simpler things, and things just start presenting themselves, or just being open to your surroundings. And I let myself do that for like 3 or 4 days, and then the answers started coming to me. Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, that's really cool. Like,
Oh.
it kind of makes me think of, um, rather than framing it as like art has healing, or like more has art has growth, where it's sharpening you and you're sharpening it, and it's like that onward growth. And like you were mentioning, Brooklyn, like it's not always from like a painful place. It could be a place of joy and like all of these things. And like, to me, growth kind of um umbrellas over all of that, right? Because you can grow joy, you can grow from pain, and like all of these different things. And that's kind of the sense of what I'm getting, Dave, as you're talking, sort of like that you working with it, but it working like on you type of thing too, and that back and forth with the actual piece. Is that
Yeah,
kind of what you were getting at, or?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And just like let it flow through you. Let it, let it speak. Let things speak through you, and like all sorts of things, like whether it be people or plants or buildings or motion or molecules or planets or anything. Let it, like, we're conduits. We're transferring things and molding them. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, so with this project, and bringing it to Fringe North in particular, what excites you about being part of the festival this year and people getting to see this particular work in this context? Because obviously it can be presented in many other places too, but with Fringe North, what kind of feels like what are your hopes, I guess, for the upcoming festival?
Like last year, I think our film was like 53 minutes. This one's like 16 and a half. So I mean, I loved last year's too. But I like the idea of, I liked working on something shorter this year and presenting something shorter. Yeah, so the shortness of, not that I don't like long films, but I think I liked just working on something really effective for 16 and a half minutes, or 16 minutes, whatever it ended up being. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're really excited for everybody to check it out, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope it's inspiring for people, and inspires creativity for other people. So we hope that you buy tickets, that you support Fringe North Festival, because what Fringe North doing is amazing. We love that we've been involved the last couple of years, and we hope that more people tune in going on in Sault Ste. Marie, because Sault Ste. Marie is a wonderful place for arts, culture, community. I've seen it with my own eyes for years now, coming through and collaborating, you know, like by having shows,
We just played the Dryer Fire series a couple
thanks
weeks
to the
ago.
coal and dryer fires and, you know, times we came through, we played on a boat. We played on the MS Nargoma, I believe it was called. So for people who are watching who aren't from Sault Ste. Marie, just pass along the message that, you know, we're
Stuff's
really
going down there.
stuff's going down there. We're very happy to be involved. We're happy to come through every time. And yeah, we love the arts and culture of Sault. So we see it, we hope other people see it, and we hope that people buy tickets not to just our show, but all the other fantastic shows that are going on and in person. Ours is online for the 4 days of the festival, but there's ones that you can go see in person, and we recommend that people do so. So support this great festival, Fringe North.
Thanks so much. We're really touched by it.
Good,
Yeah, like, yeah, I think we do a lot of hard work, and I'll speak for the entire team here, like just the hours and sweat and tears that go into like making the festival happen. And we have
Sure.
some amazing team members that it just wouldn't happen without. So shout out to all of the team and thanks to each one of you. But yeah, that is like really, I think art and culture is just so important for that building community piece. And we're always excited to have guests come from out of town and see them and get to meet people. And I also like the fact that it kind of works both ways where we have the digital portion. So even if you can't make it to the show, you can like submit, and then also people can purchase tickets from anywhere. So feel free to support. For those of you watching, it should be in the chat, which I think is, I don't know where I am on the screen, but down below. So feel free to purchase tickets. The shows, all of our digital shows are running from the Thursday to the Sunday, so the 18th to the 21st. But you can purchase right now if it's digital, and you will just have access later on. So feel free to pick up a ticket. And yeah.
Yep, get a ticket, see Glowing, see all the other shows, and
And I
Yeah.
think one of the things about the digital ones, you can, if you buy a ticket within the 18th to the 21st, you can watch it at your leisure. So
Mhm.
yeah.
And as many times as you want to.
yeah, times you want, so
on repeat.
get it, show it to, share it with a friend, all that stuff, yeah.
No, none of that.
Get some popcorn, well, you can have friends over and get the popcorn, you know. Yeah, get some friends over and watch a whole bunch, yeah.
Watch it for have a viewing party.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing your submission and all of the submissions. There's just so many fantastic, different and unique pieces this year. For those who haven't had a chance to check it out, jump onto our website, www.siouxfringe.com, and you can check out all the shows there. So with your journey as artists and kind of having been in and out of the Sioux over the past couple of years, what has been some of the highlights or favorite memories of like the region and the area?
Well, I think the first one was definitely the playing at I think the Gore Street Cafe,
Mhm.
the laundromat.
With Shay Toll.
Yeah. We just played with Shay. So
Yep.
I mean,
Shout outs to Shay.
yeah, we just did our Humber River Art and Music Festival in Toronto, and Shay came and played. So literally, those relationships from Sault Ste. Marie are spilling over down here now. Like
That's awesome.
in the Huntsville, down to Toronto region and stuff. So that's a connection maybe 5 or 6 years ago, even now. Gore Street Cafe, and I don't know if there was just something about it. Like, was it a big show? No, but there was people out. But there was just, you just know when people are putting together some, like they're there for the music and that kind of thing. You just know when that creative pulse is there, and it was there, and it just it's always there. It was always just 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was great. We played at the Big Lake Cabin.
Yeah. With Juliana Reagan and Blair.
Yeah, and I'm always just that relationship to the Great Lakes. Huh? It's just
Yeah, I think we saw what Nicole was doing too, because in our travels, we love any show, but our favorite show are ones where you're kind of lucky where you get to kind of dip into a place's community.
Yeah.
Where people come out.
That's
Like
right.
it's lucky to be able to travel, play your songs, and kind of that place and see into a community for a night or an evening and that kind of thing. So I think we just saw what Nicole was doing, and caring about people, and the food was awesome and the music, and it felt good. And yeah, we still have friends that we talk to from that night to this day. So I think that's memorable. And then like building on that too. And so it's a place we like to go. We like to come and play music and do art involved things.
I feel like every time I go to Sault Ste. Marie, I grow a little bit as a person. Like I always have like an intimate an intimate, heartfelt conversation with something. Like I always walk away with like one new friend. If
That's
not,
awesome.
like, yeah.
It's great to hear. Yeah, I think with the arts community too, like it's just so important to be building and supporting each other. And I think that's something that we're still learning and growing ourselves in terms of how to do that. But ultimately, for those of you watching, our heart is for community. So come support the festival. You can follow us online to find out what else is happening with the Fringe throughout the year, and to potentially become involved as an artist yourself too. We're always interested in finding new artists too. So is there anything else that you would like to share with viewers before, like, what do you have anything upcoming, different performances going on in your lives as well, or?
I think after this, we have some performances, live in the area. We've been playing at Lake Bays Marina. We did Nuit Blanche North here in Huntsville. We did the Humber River Arts, which was one of our paddle tours on the Humber River in Toronto. So we're really proud and happy about that. And we're going into mixing and hopefully
Album release mode.
We're
Fringe,
working on our new album, Kaleidoscope Brown, which is cool because it has some cost. And I'll spill the beans. There's a track that's going to be on the new album that's on Glowing. So that's kind of exciting. You'll get a taste of some of our album. No release date set yet, but we're still in the mixing phase. But everything's recorded. But really, the themes of it, they're not Glowing, but they're definitely cross pollinating. It's like that's all I need to say. Yeah.
Awesome.
To say is watch Fringe North, watch Glowing, please. You will not be disappointed.
Nope.
You will really be glad that you did, and we hope that you'll join us.
Yeah, for sure. So jump into the chat if you're watching and purchase a ticket now. We'd really appreciate your support, and yeah, it's just going to be a super exciting thing to watch. I've seen little pieces of it and it's phenomenal. So buy a ticket and support not just Dave and Brooklyn, but like all of our artists that are part of this year's festival.
Yep, we're really happy to be a part of the lineup. So be a part of the festival again this year. So yeah, so thanks you guys.
Thank you so much for your time and for coming on today. I do have a couple more housekeeping items. So and then I'll ask you to share your socials too. So if you want to gather that information while I share with our audience some extra pieces. So if you're looking for the full lineup of artists, again, you can go to our website, www.siouxfringe.com. It's just below in my name. And then we have our shows on Friday and Saturday at the Sault Ste. Marie Museum and workshops happening on the Sunday. We also have the digital portion. You can buy tickets to the digital portion of the festival right now. You can go on to our website. You can follow the link if you'd like to purchase Glow Ink. And you can get all of those right now. And then on the dates of the festival from the 18th to 21st, it will become available to actually view on that platform. We are taking at the door sales for the live portion, but any tickets that are digital can be bought right now. And our program is also on our website, so check that out. And we hope to see you all at the festival. You can follow us on social to find out more. And we're at Sault Fringe on all of the main platforms. So thank you, Dave and Brooklyn, so much for your time today. Did you want to share what your socials are so that everyone can?
It just like in the chat or just tell you.
If you can say them as well, so that if they can't see the chat,
If you for Twintwa, www.twintwa.com, and then the first thing you're gonna see is all the Fringe stuff.
Yeah.
The links right to it and all our, whatever button you wanna press, whatever way you wanna go to Spotify, Instagram, whatever. And then Forest Her Dress, Brooks Music Project, type in Forest Her Dress.
.bandcamp.com.
Yeah,
forestredress.bandcamp.com.
And there's, new, like, we still have not too long, the Bleeding Hearts EP with Eagle Lake Owls. So they have a track, the Twintwa has a track, and Forester Dress has a track on there too. So you can check that out on Bandcamp, Forester Dress. It's called the Bleeding Hearts EP. Yeah. But if you go to .com, you'll eventually, you can
find all of
you
that.
can source
So,
yourself words
yeah.
from that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for both of your time. Thank you
No
for
problem.
our audience for
Yeah.
watching. Merci, miigwech, gracias. And remember to tune in next Thursday, August 18th for our opening ceremony, 6:30, happening right here on our YouTube channel. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thanks, Fringe North.
Yeah.
Thanks, Caitlin. Thanks,
See ya.
Evan.
Have a good evening.